Good morning. Welcome back to Elden Ring. Hello, hello. And I hope you're having a great morning, day, or evening wherever you are. Let's get back into it. Can't believe that I'm 95 hours into this game. And I feel like I've only done, I don't know, maybe a third of it? Hoo boy. I mean, well, there was a lot to discuss in between, and the fact that I still feel massively underleveled for the content that I'm currently doing doesn't really help make things go faster. I mean, not that I specifically want things to go faster. Obviously, you want to enjoy the experience, but at the same time, I do want to, I feel like I've now got a very good grasp on all the things, and hopefully, slowly get a bit more into the actual nitty-gritty, interesting bits and pieces. Also, this room was actually closed last time I was here. Or, well, last time? At some point it was closed for some reason. So let's talk to this guy. Maybe at this point he has something interesting to say.
You've received the wisdom of the two fingers, have you not? Then,
Seems
just
like
as
it.
promised, I bid you welcome. As a true member of the Round Table, I am known as Gideon Ofnir. As a tarnished who wishes to stand before the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord, I am accumulating knowledge. To be all-knowing. You now belong to a select group of fellows. As such, I ask that you remain constant.
Constant? That is still something that I haven't really... Well, the problem is the game hasn't really elaborated on what it means to be tarnished. And, I mean, tarnished seem to be the only people that are still quote-unquote sane, I guess. Right? Tarnished are the only ones that are actually still human and still sort of think for themselves, I guess. Although that is also a very sort of broad term that, I don't know, seems to be potentially problematic. I don't really know. I mean, that's all kind of strange, I feel like. Wait, let me check one thing here real quick. But yeah, it's the one thing that I don't really understand about this is when all Tarnished are trying to become the next Elden Lord, aren't we technically sort of going against each other? But yet, here we are, the only people that actually work together instead of against each other, seemingly. What's up with that? I mean, that all feels somewhat strange.
You'll be after more great runes now, eh? Then as your fellow, allow me to divulge a little knowledge. The inheritors of the great runes, the Shard Bearers. We of the Round Table know the location of 5 of them, including the one you defeated. Godric the Grafted, Lord of Stormvale. General Radahn, who fought Melania and her rot to a standstill in the Caelid Wilds.
Melania?
Praetor Rykard, Lord of the Volcano Manor of Mount Gelmir. Morgoth the Grace-Given, Veiled Monarch and Lord of Leyndell. And Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, ruler of Rhea Lucaria's Academy. You'll still be after more great runes, won't you?
Can you repeat that? Okay, so he is essentially our exposition for who we still have to fight. So, yeah, the problem here is that the game really doesn't sort of explain the basic setting of itself. So, well, yeah, we are tarnished, right? And all these people here are tarnished as well. And we've seen at the beginning of the game that the tarnished have risen up again. I mean, Gideon Ofnir, for example, is somebody who's prominently mentioned in the opening cutscene, but it's really quite hard to explain what the problem here is, because, well, the basic sort of explanation is there, the basic setting is established, and what you are supposed to do is established, and what other people are doing is sort of established, but how everything sort of fits together in this world is something that is just sort of missing. I don't really know how to put it, but I mean, what are tarnished really? Why do we exist like this, right? A lot of it is sort of left in the dark, or not really elaborated upon, not really explained, to the point where the whole game and its whole setup just feels sort of off in a way. Doesn't it? I mean, with these people as well, right? We know, okay, they're shard bearers. They have this power of the Great Rune, yet we don't really know what that even entails. I mean, judging by what the Great Rune is doing for us, unless you have a rune arc and don't die, it's doing literally nothing. And then the Great Runes, the only way they get their power back seems to be if you go to something two-finger-like, which is the Greater Will, quote-unquote. So what exactly... I mean, I guess that's why somebody like Godric was, well, I guess, somewhat insane, because they had a part of the Elden Ring, yet they didn't have its actual power. And so I guess the assumption here would be that Godric tried to become more powerful through these grafting things, because he was maybe disappointed or disillusioned with the Great Rune that he had, right? He had this power, he had the Great Rune, yet it wasn't really... it wasn't active, right? It didn't have its power anymore, and he most likely wasn't really able to activate that power because the Greater Will / the Two Fingers weren't giving it to him. Something like that. And then, but yeah, a lot of this doesn't sort of really fit together is the problem. So these shard bearers, at one point they all fought a great war against each other. So first of all, it's interesting then, why do they still even exist if this war happened? I guess the war sort of ended with nobody winning, yet nobody was really dead either. So they all sort of, what's the word, like recluded themselves into their respective domains and didn't really do anything anymore. And now they're sort of all living amongst themselves only, and trying to get more powerful through other means, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the problem is, we know sort of it's a very, very weird setup, I feel like, that we have here, because usually stories and the way storytelling happens, right? You want sort of a few basics established, and then you go into more details, right? You have characters, you have their characterizations, you have, interesting details about the world and about its history and what happened throughout time and whatever. But, well, it's not really the FromSoft games in general, but it's more Elden Ring in this case, and they they've sort of switched these two things around, but in a very awkward way. So we know a lot of details. We know a lot of characters. We even know a bit about them, their motivations to a degree. We know who they are, what they did in the past. We know a lot of Tarnished characters as well. We know sometimes their fears or their interests. We know what they're looking for. And then we know a lot about other characters as well. We know through all of the item descriptions that we've gotten, we have a lot of info about the world and about different sort of bits and bobs, little details that we've seen all over the place. Yet, sort of the foundation of everything has never been established and hasn't really been told to us. Which, in a weird way, sort of makes it so that everything else that we now hear about, while it's interesting, it's also not really. I mean, you can't really place it anywhere, right? It's as if you listen to interesting details about a subject you don't even know the name of, essentially, right? Or, well, it's not really what I'm trying to say here, but I don't know. It's as if you have let's say a book, and you have the words, but you don't have the pages, right? You know a lot of what the book entails and the words that are supposed to be used, yet you don't have the pages. You can't place the words and sentences in a proper way. That's what this feels like, and I don't know if that's exactly what they were going for. I don't know if I maybe missed some sort of critical piece of information at some point. But the end result is just very unsatisfying, because there is so much really, really interesting stuff that you want to talk about, that you want to know about, interesting things that, are really, really have a lot of potential here for interesting stories, yet because of the lack of any foundation or basic sort of knowledge about how this world works, means that everything sort of just, I guess, almost screamed into the void, is how I would describe it, right? It's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of potential, but it can never stick, right? I mean, I can know it, I can write it down, yet it doesn't really ever do anything, this knowledge, because there's nothing that it can stick to, right? At one point, I think I was describing this game as like a 1,000-piece puzzle, where you find all these bits and pieces and like very, very small pieces that fit together, right? Like a 1,000-piece puzzle, and sometimes you find like 2 or 3 pieces maybe that belong together, but never more, right? You have this like giant puzzle in front of you, and you have, all the pieces are lying there completely separate still, and you're looking at it, and you just can't figure out what the big picture is even supposed to look like in the end, right? And again, I don't know if that's what they were going for. For me personally, I think it's not a very good way of storytelling, like at all, because it means there is a lot of mystery, yet no answer ever, right? Maybe until the very end. And that creates a very, I feel like, what's the word? Shit. I just had it. Well, it's the problem is, or what it creates, is that you kind of want to get to the end of it all, right? You want to get the big picture. You want to know what this giant puzzle is turning into at the end. And that makes the journey a lot less enjoyable, right? Usually stories should be as much about the journey as they are the destination. Obviously, it depends. Like a short movie or something, obviously, is more about the destination probably than the journey. But this and its basic setup, in a way, in a set that I think sometimes at the beginning it did remind me a little bit of the Lord of the Rings, for example, right? It clearly draws some inspiration here and there from the Lord of the Rings. But that was very much a very, very long journey, but the whole journey was the interesting part, right? I mean, ultimately, there was a destination, there was a conclusion to the whole thing, but, everything is enjoyable about it, right? But here in Elden Ring, it feels like, the world and everything that you find within it, the characters, all of them, they should be interesting. They should be something that would like to engage with, yet they aren't really, because you don't know the bigger picture. You don't even know where it leads to. It's just very, very hard to immerse yourself both in the world and really enjoy character interactions or something, right? And these little stories. It's really, really hard to enjoy that when at the same time the game is giving you absolutely nothing about its bigger picture and about, sort of a point where you can place all these interactions that you have within, right? It's really unfortunate as well, because I feel like the game is losing a lot of its potential because of that, and it's also making you sort of feel like, oh, I need to get to the end as quickly as possible, because otherwise it's going to be very hard to enjoy everything in between, right? I have a feeling that, if I would sort of rush to the end and then go back and do like a New Game Plus run through the whole world, that would actually be more enjoyable than what I'm doing currently. Yet, obviously, I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to rush to the end. It's a very, very weird thing that's going on here. And I mean, as you can clearly see, or hear rather, I'm really, really struggling to even put into words what the actual problem is here, right? Oh well, let's hear what he has to say about all the people that we still need to defeat for whatever reason.
So, Godric the Grafted.
Godric the
Lord of
Grafted.
Stormvale. Despite being the blood of Godfrey, first Elden Lord, he's a grotesque old fool grasping for power. His castle lies upon the cliff to Limgrave's northwest, but I suspect you know that well enough already.
Huh, yeah, thanks for information that I knew. Cool. Okay. Radahn.
Radahn, the famed Red Lion and Scourge of the Stars, is a ferocious warrior. He fought Melania and her rot to a standstill in the Caelid Wilds to Limgrave's east. And now Caelid has been engulfed by the Scarlet Rot. Even approaching the region is no mean feat. I've heard survivors of Radahn's army are still in the wilds, staving off the rot with fire. And if it's true, I suspect Radahn is still there as well, in Caelid. Though, I doubt he much resembles his former self anymore.
Okay, a bunch of very, very interesting information. So Radahn fought Melania to a standstill. That is something that we've heard about already, and you also see in the beginning cutscene, right? Even though at that point, obviously, you don't know who the people are that are in the cutscene. Okay, let me get this information again. Tamed Red Lion.
Scourge of the Stars is a ferocious warrior. He fought Melania and her rot to a standstill in the Caelid Wilds to Limgrave's east. And by my reckoning, Radahn remains there, even now.
So he's still in Caelid, we kinda know that.
Much resembles his former self anymore.
Shit, now he's not repeating the stuff that he said about the rod. So the rod engulfed Kaled. And it's like, what did he say? They're trying to fight it with fire? That's something that I got from that. Which is... It's a bit frustrating because sometimes the item descriptions as well, I mean, obviously you could sort of argue that they are like bits and pieces of information that aren't necessarily 100% true. And the item descriptions themselves sometimes say, you know, oh, that is like, it's a rumor, or there is like this legend of something, right? So, you know, in a way, they're not a, what's it called? A reliable narrator or something. That in and of itself would be fine, but it sometimes they're like really confusing in a way because of that. I mean, we had multiple item descriptions that referred to fire as somewhat of a subsection of rot, but now this information seems to say the exact opposite of that. So the fire is actually used to fight against the rot. Maybe it's eternally burning because it gets sort of infused with the rot or something. Also, who's actually fighting the rot then? Because when we venture to Kaled, it very much just looks like, you know, it's sort of been left to its own devices. Everything in it is just sort of rotten and destroyed, and all of the creatures as well just seem these almost undead versions of themselves. So who exactly is fighting the rot then? Or maybe that was something that they did in the beginning and ultimately now they're not really doing that anymore? Or maybe he's alluding to the fact that maybe people from Limgrave are the ones that are fighting against the rot. Also, yet again, that is something that we don't actually see within the game, which is yet another problem that I also talked about, I think, last time or something, where I feel like we hear these really interesting things that happened in the past, yet everything that happens in the present is really uninteresting in comparison, because nothing's really happening. The whole world sort of seems at a standstill, right, in a stasis. Nothing's really happening anymore, which is... yeah, not great. I feel like one of the worst things in storytelling that you could do, and unfortunately a feat that a lot of games for whatever reason tend to use, is they always talk about, you know, very interesting sort of wars and conflicts and whatever that happened in the past, yet when you actually play through the game, all you ever see is ruins, sort of deprecated places, you know, things that have been destroyed. And I'm always, you know, obviously there is a reason for that. It's much easier to develop games in that state rather than actually showing conflicts with, you know, thousands of people or whatever. That requires a lot more, you know, planning and you know, your whole game needs to facilitate that as well. And obviously, especially if you create like an open world and you want your player to have a bunch of freedom in what they are doing, then you can't really put the player in a situation where the world itself is also moving a lot, right? Yet, that is something that The Witcher 3 does very brilliantly, I think, where you feel like you're a piece of the story, but the world itself is its own story, right? It's realistic. Something else actually happens, whether you are there or not, right? Obviously, that does take some, I guess, of the decision-making away from the player, but it feels a lot better, because ultimately, you know, you're only ever a part of the story. You're never the whole story. And the problem is, especially with Elden Ring and the, I guess, part of history that we are playing through, it feels like nothing's moving at all. We are the only one that is actually doing something, which not only is that unrealistic, but it has this sort of weird feel to it, right? Where it's just, it's not really immersive at all. It leads to you being this sort of awkward puppet. You honestly, your character just feels like a puppet, something that I, as the player, who is not actually part of this world, is controlling, right? And moving through the world instead of me actually being the character within the world, right? You get the distinction? It's like a... Yeah. Okay, so we know Radahn is in Caelid, and, well, he's the famed Red Lion. I guess something must have happened that the rot spread, but apparently the rot was there before. It's just that, I guess, Caelid only looks like this since the Shattering. It didn't look like this before. Okay.
Praetor Rykard is the lord of the Volcano Manor on Mount Gelmir.
Praetor Rykard.
He is a ruthless justiciar who commands a company of inquisitors, reviled for his serpentine demeanor. The volcano, Mount Gelmir, lies in the west of the Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. It was the stage of the most appalling battle in the entirety of the Shattering. Rykard has committed the grave sin of blasphemy, marking himself as an enemy never to be forgiven.
Okay. Interesting that that's the case. Yeah, also this exposition is just not really good in how they present it. It's sort of weird, right? First the game doesn't tell you anything, and then suddenly, oh, you defeated Godric, now we tell you everything at once. Okay.
Praetor Rykard is the
Lord of the Volcano Manor on Mount Gelmir.
He is a ruthless justiciar who commands a company of inquisitors, reviled for his serpentine demeanor. The volcano, Mount Gelmir, lies in the west of the Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. It was the stage of the most appalling battle in the entirety of the Shattering. Rykard has committed the grave sin of blasphemy, marking himself as an enemy never to be forgiven.
Okay, marked as the Lord of Volcano Manor on Mount Gelmir. It's interesting that that's west of the Altus Plateau. I mean, I don't really know where that plateau is. We only kind of know or suspect, well, obviously there's the Earth Tree. The plateau must be sort of next to it.
Praetor Rykard is the lord of the volcano. He is a ruthless justiciar who commands
Justiciar.
a company of inquisitors, reviled for his serpentine demeanor.
Serpentine demeanor.
Mount Gelmir, lies in the west of the Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. It was the stage of the most appalling battle in the entirety of the Shattering. Rykard has committed the
appalling battle. Okay, let me get that again. So he is a justiciar, commands company of inquisitors.
Reviled for his serpentine demeanor. The volcano, Mount Gelmir, lies in the west of the Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. It was the stage of the most appalling battle in the entirety of the Shattering. Rykard has committed the grave sin of blasphemy, marking himself as an enemy never to be forgiven.
Most appalling battle. I wonder what that means. Probably that they, I don't know, turned their enemies into something reviling or serpentine behavior. Whatever that means. Okay, Praetor Rykard. And remember, all of these are technically offspring of Marika and Godfrey, right? At least that was that's what we learned earlier.
Morgoth the Grace-given is Lord of Leyndell, the capital city. It lies at the foot of the Erd Tree, in the east of the Altus Plateau. But the Two Fingers forbid us from venturing there, until we've acquired enough great runes to repair the Elden Ring. Set your sights elsewhere for the time being. The Veiled Monarch can wait.
Okay, so that's the end boss then, I suspect. The leader of the... So that is also interesting. It sounds like we are only really capable of even fighting him if we've already acquired all the pieces of the Elden Ring, right? Now, why then does a transporter chest exist that transports you to the capital city? I guess the idea there is that you can maybe get a couple of materials from there early on. Something like that. Because otherwise, why? I still can't figure out why they would give you these transporter chests if they then stop your progress in other ways, right? I mean, one thing that is interesting, though, you definitely don't have to defeat Godric first. You can go somewhere else, right? You can just go past Stormvale. You don't have to fight Godric. So, I mean, in a way, that's certainly interesting. Morgoth the Grace-given.
Lord of Leyndell, the capital city.
Lord of Leyndell.
It lies at the foot of the Erd Tree, in the east of the Altus Plateau. But the Two Fingers forbid us from venturing there, until we've acquired enough great runes to repair
the capital city is east of the Altus Plateau. That is interesting, because, yeah, that means that this Mount Gelmir, if it lies west of the Altus Plateau, that's definitely not the mountain that you see from a distance that is sort of behind the Erd Tree, because that's towards the northeast, right? Also, why is he called Morgoth the Grace-given? Doesn't that mean that he would be connected to the Erd Tree in a way? Or chosen by the Erd Tree? Why would we fight him? Renala.
The Academy of Rea Lucaria lies to Limgrave's north, towering over the mist.
Well, that we've already seen.
Renala is queen of the Carian royals, who govern the Academy. But Renala herself is no demigod. Her beloved Radagon left her to become Queen Marika's second husband, taking the title of King Consort. The Great Rune dwells within the Amber Egg that was Radagon's gift to her.
Okay. Well, that seems interesting.
The Academy of Rea Lucaria lies to Limgrave.
Now that we know.
Is
Queen of the Carian royals.
The Academy. And her great rune dwells within the egg she so dearly clutches.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why is some of this dialogue like one-to-one? Like, he says it first, and then if you click on it again, he just repeats everything. And then some of the dialogue is shortened the second time you click on it. Why? Who decides on these weird things? Do they think that the players are not interested in hearing the same thing again if they're clicking on it again? So clutches an amber... Okay, wait. Clutches an amber egg, holding the Great Rune. So we've heard about the Academy and the Carian royals quite a bit because most sort of spells and everything have information about that, right? Renala is no demigod. What the fuck did he... she's a queen, yet she was the second husband, is what he said? Second husband of Marika? Is that just a weird translation, or can she turn into, like, can she, like, change her gender, or is that just like a medieval description of lesbians? Second husband of Marika. I mean, maybe she saw herself as a husband to Marika, but then why the second one? If Godfrey was the first husband of Marika, which, I mean, has it ever been confirmed? It wasn't explicitly stated, I think, but yet, I mean, that's kind of what the game told us, in a way, multiple times even. Maybe I'm missing something here, or maybe Ranala is a he, not a she. It's just an interesting choice of words. But then also, when did that happen exactly? So, well, see, once again, we're sort of missing like a basic explanation as to what even happened in the past, right? So, we know that the shattering happened, and in this case, Gideon Ofni here is telling us what happened after the shattering, after the war, where these people went, right? But we don't really know the timeline before that. So at one point, Marika and Godfrey existed. Godfrey was the first Elden Lord. Still no idea why he's even called the first one, because it seems, sure enough, that he was the only one, seemingly. And, well, I mean, something must have happened to him that ultimately also split the Elden Ring, right? And their offspring, these demigods, they all received a piece of it. Even though Renala is not a demigod. So did they only have like 4 offspring? Or is this Morgoth guy also their offspring, but he doesn't have an Elden Rune? Strange. Okay, and this Ranala is clutching an amber egg that holds the Great Rune. Amber, somehow connected to the Erdtree. I don't know. Maybe they were capable of sealing one of the Great Runes away after the Elden Ring got shattered or something. And Marika gave that to Ranala? Maybe? Yeah. Really don't know what to make of that. I mean, we're gonna find out something about that, right? Because the Academy is where we're going next. There seems to be a lot of interesting stuff there. I wish that we wouldn't have to fight something, right? It would be really, really awesome if the Academy was just this place where they actually sealed themselves away and therefore they're still sane and you can still talk to them. I fear that's not what will happen, but yeah. And then we have Nephili.
You've been speaking to Nephili.
I have?
She's my daughter.
Oh,
I took her in
yeah.
when she lost the guidance of grace. Though a mere axe-wielding barbarian, her youthful credulity suited my purposes. So I put her to work. Do not hesitate to employ her. Should her services benefit you, despite her looks, she is more than capable in the press of battle.
And also you can't click on that again. Oh, God. The inconsistencies that they have in these dialogue choices is just like, why, right? Make them like, if it's completely fine if you want to have them be like a one-off thing, right? Where the player clicks on them once, you get the information, and then they're gone, right? That's not exactly a good way of designing a game, but at least it's a choice. But I don't even know why. Who decided this? So some of the dialogue choices you can click on and then they never appear again. It's dialogue that you can only get once. But then other dialogue choices just stick around for forever, and you can always click on them and get the same information again. And then there are even like the third different option where you can click on them, they still stay around, but they will only sort of repeat about half the information that they've given you before. That seems completely arbitrary, right? I mean, what a weird design choice. I wonder if it's a choice at all, or if they just... Some of these things honestly just seem random. As if they had some sort of intern or whatever just say, oh, implement these dialogues however you want, right? I mean, this doesn't seem like it's actually been decided properly. Yeah, I don't know. Absolutely no idea what they did here. Well, I mean, at least we got a bunch of information. Don't know if it's ever going to be really useful to us, but also, one thing that I do wonder, so we've heard about Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. I have information here about it. Cradles an ember egg to birth people anew, whatever that means. That's by far the most interesting thing of this entire game for me currently, the Academy of Raya Lucaria. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by it, but it's still a very, very interesting thing. One thing that I wanted to look back to, so the witch that we've seen once, the blue one, with the ghost face next to her actual face. What was her name? I need to find... Also, I wonder if there is a connection between Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, and the supposed Black Moon over the Eternal City, which is, I think, down in the well. Oh, that was Henna, right? So the witch that visited us, that gave us this bell in order to awaken the spirit summons, her name is Henna. I was just thinking about, because she's this blue ghostly witch, right? Which just reminded me a lot of the seal that we see at the entrance to Raya Lucaria. So I wonder if she stems from there or is connected to the Academy. Maybe it's just sort of the visuals match up quite a bit. But yeah, we haven't gotten any information about her at this point. Well, that was a lot of information. You still don't talk to us, right? I wonder what's up with you. Okay. Well. Also, did I ever talk to you again?
I take it.
I did.
To our duties shared, we are now comrades in arms. I think you've earned this.
Oh.
The power of the Golden Order to aid the hunt of those who live in death.
Interesting. He gives us incantations. Litany of Proper Death. Creates an image of order to deal holy damage. One of the incantations of the Golden Order fundamentalists. So he is a golden... I think we've gotten that information already, right? Creates an image of order, dealing holy damage to nearby foes. This incantation is especially damaging to those who live in death. Any felt by this incantation cannot be revived. The role of the hunters is to stamp out defiled reason, all for the perfection of the Golden Order. Yet another thing that is really strange to me, because the only things that we've seen so far that actually get up again are these skeletons that you sometimes meet in graveyards and stuff. And they didn't really seem to be all that special or interesting or powerful. And you can even permanently kill them, right? Although we have actually met enemies that you couldn't permanently kill, which were those weird zombie things in one of the catacombs. I've only met them once, though, so... yeah. I don't know what that's about, really. In Shan's armament held in the right hand with holy affinity attacks, this incantation is especially damaging. Any felt by this incantation cannot be revived. How many FP is that? 22. Well, I think that's not that different from what I have on my weapon currently, right? Although I suspect that the animation for this is probably not going to be any faster than what I can do currently. Well, about Rogier, what the hell did he do to himself?
Acquainted with a man named Rogier.
Rogier, whatever.
The fellow hiding away on the balcony. He was a formidable spellblade in times past. Don't let his easy air deceive you. He was wise beyond his years, stout of heart and clear of mind. No more, though. You see him now, ravaged by thorns, muttering and rambling, like he's half dead already. I can't stomach to watch. Take well the lesson, friend. That's how you end up when seduced by those who live in death. When grace is sullied, it rots people from the inside, breaks them.
What does that mean, though? So he was once very talented. I mean, we've heard that, I think, at some point, and is rotting from the inside. With, like, thorns. Because he's straight from grace. Something like that. The problem here is that once again we get very mixed signals. And, well, the biggest problem is that the place where we've seen most of these, so he, in this case, he's connecting it, so the way Dee told us just now, he's telling us that whatever Rogier is doing, or did, or whatever happened to him is connected to this death root and those who live in death. And, well, we don't really know why. And the biggest problem here is that for some reason on these thorns, right, apparently the indication for that, the indication for this inside rotting that Rogier is suffering from, the place where we've seen that the most is actually Stormvale. Yet, I mean, well, we see soldiers that also have these thorns sprouting from themselves, right, in Stormvale. And you can actually, I mean, I found the shields, for example, that also have the thorns on them. And a lot of these thorns are seemingly sort of grown outside of the castle. And we actually find this huge octopus-looking thing way down in Stormvale Castle which also has these giant, like these octopus arms, but also with thorns on it. And one thing that we find next to it is an item that describes it as the Lord of Death, which would explain why the thorns exist there. But, well, actually it's not really conflicting information, is it? It's just that the implication of that is kind of strange, because, well, what is the meaning behind that? Did this god of death, for whatever reason, decide to invade Stormvale? Did they want, like, this those who live in death faction? Did they want to fight against Godric? Did they want to make Godric one of their own? Because the whole grafting part and everything that's sort of consumed and made Godric this appalling person seemingly is completely disconnected from this death god and the death root and the thorns, right? That seem to be two very, very different things. Yet they're somehow connected, but also not connected in Stormvale. But I mean, clearly that's why Rogier was there, right? I mean, that's where we first met him, because he probably wanted to get information or power or whatever. He wanted to experiment with these thorns, clearly. And whatever he did to himself now is sprouting these thorns from himself as well.
I serve the Golden Order, that I might put this crooked land to rights, following only the guidance of the great Elden Ring. Those who live in death fall outside the principles of the Golden Order. Their mere existence sullies the guidance of gold, tainting its truth. And so it is the vermin must be exterminated, down to the very last.
Yeah, that's great and all, but you make it seem like that's sort of the only thing that's wrong with these lands, yet everything sort of seems to be destroyed, and it's not all connected to this death god. That's what's so strange about this, right? It's not that we're fighting specifically this death god and the ones who live in death and everything that's connected to them. We're also fighting everything else, right? So it's interesting the way he talks about this, yet for us as the player, it doesn't really seem to be any different, right? It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference overall, because, well, we're fighting everything regardless, right? Why does it matter if it's death god people or Deathroot or whatever, or something else? That is a bit of a problem narratively in this game, for sure, that, well, since everything wants to kill you, it's very, very hard to actually establish sort of motives and a sort of goal for these different entities within this world, right? Because no matter what, right, everything that we meet, like all of these different, well, I call them sort of factions or entities, right? But all of them, at the end of the day, just really try to kill us, right? And they're even sort of fighting amongst themselves as well. I mean, not within a faction, but the factions also fight. And we sometimes see that as well, right? Yet, because everything's aggressive and everything, like, for us as the player, right, from a gameplay perspective, everything is more or less the same, right? They have different attacks, maybe different attack patterns, or some of them might use magic, some of them might use brute force, but at the end of the day, in terms of gameplay, they're all the same, right? There is no difference between these different factions. It's not like one of them is friendly and one of them is hostile, or one of them is sort of in between depending on your choices. They're all just hostile. They're all essentially the same. And that's narratively, that's a very big problem, because it's kind of very hard to establish motives and actually establish these sort of well, I guess goals and it's hard to establish where these factions are trying to go, right? What is their goal? What is their ultimate idea of how they want to live or something, right? That doesn't really exist. They just seem to be hostile for no real reason, and they don't really do anything. They just sort of exist and fight everything they come across. And that's with basically every faction that we've met so far, or every entity, or whatever, right? They sort of just exist. The same with Godric. I mean, yeah, he's grafting things. He seems to want to get back his power through attaching body parts to himself, but yet we don't really know what he even wants to do with that. Does he just want to be like a very powerful person? But for what purpose? Is he also trying to reunite the Elden Ring? If we had Godric just, left to his own devices, would he at some point just have tried to attack Caelid or the Academy? See what I'm talking about, right? That's something that the game doesn't tell you, doesn't elaborate upon. It's not really told to us in any way, shape, or form, and that makes it very, very hard to actually, well, not empathize, but definitely be connected to these characters, even though they are evil, obviously, but you still need to be connected to evil characters as well, right? They're like, if you want your player to feel something, the problem is that I'm completely indifferent, right? Godric, oh yeah, of course he's a boss that I'm fighting, but that's just because the game makes me fight him. Yet towards him as an entity or as a person or whatever you want to call it, right? I'm pretty much completely indifferent, because his motives are just, he wants to be stronger, I guess, right? There is no real motivation to any of his actions, seemingly. At least none that the game really tells us, and the same, sadly, seems to be true for everything else as well, right? I mean, that's what I've been describing as the sort of stasis that the game world seems to be in. Nothing's really changing. There is no real motivation for any of the characters. Are they, completely separated from whether or not they're good or evil? There seems to be no real motivation towards anything, right? Everything's just sort of there. Everything just exists, but nothing's really trying to change anything apart from you as the player, for whatever reason that we don't even know about either, right? Can be very, very frustrating. But that was a lot of speculation about the world, a lot of talking to people. Let us get back into the actual game. Okay, so last time we did these ruins at the end. There's still the maiden, but I think in order to help her, we need another one of those grapes. I don't really know where to get that. Well, there is multiple different things that we can do. I kind of want to unlock the next piece of the map as well, so I wonder if that's here. It's very interesting to me that they don't really, because so far they've always, so if you uncover that, for example, right, you can see here's the next point where you get the next part of the map. Yet in this case, they don't show us that for whatever reason. But I think I wanna actually start here. So I think there was another sort of enemy over here. So let's check out these sort of quote unquote islands, I guess. And from there, I'm going to go up here, check out the Everjail. Don't know if I really want to fight the boss yet. Will also depend on how much damage I'm actually dealing to it. But then from there, we can also turn back the other way and go up here, I guess, on this huge rock cliffside thing that we've seen. And maybe there's going to be another part of the map that we can uncover. So, I guess I'm going to start here then, huh? Oh, so that's... Wait a second. So looking at this, over there, the white city behind the Erdtree, that should be the capital, right? But the plateau that they were talking about, I think that's actually that one, right? Wait, let me actually use the telescope. I think that one, that should be maybe that Altus Plateau. And so something to the west of that would be what you can see through the fog there, where there's this one sort of tower in the very background, or three towers actually. That should then be west of it, right? Or maybe I'm misinterpreting that. Could also be the thing that's sort of on the plateau, that like castle very far in the distance on the mountain. Oh, right, we have one of these silvery things here. Also, there's something below the mountain as well. Do I want to check out the silver thing first? Might be a good idea, huh? Can I just jump down here? Should be possible. Yeah. Check this out first. Examine. Yeah. So I feel like the one that I was still missing in the Mistwood, the reason why I wasn't able to examine it is probably because I found whatever it was pointing to before I actually found this thing, which is, yeah. It's just weird. I feel like instead of just deactivating them, instead of not being able to examine them anymore, they should just vanish completely. Because then they wouldn't really confuse the player. It's just kind of strange that they still exist, but you just can't interact with them anymore. In case you, Does he have to go through this thing? Are you serious? This is also very far. Where the hell are you going? Great, there's more of these weird scholar people that are crawling on the ground. And another stronger one, or whatever this is. I think I saw him last time, which is why I wanted to go back to these islands here. Where the fuck are you taking me? Are you serious? I guess it'll just be like a cave entrance, possibly, you know, next to those rocks or something. Oh shit, he's turning. Well, I mean, at least we can just fight in between without him getting, you know, deleted or whatever. Yeah, he's just literally leading us to this cave entrance. Cool. I would have found this on my own anyways. Oh well. Whatever. Let's start with this then, I guess. Lakeside Crystal Cave. Might be an interesting start to today. You know, just... fighting against a boss, trying to see, you know, what else there is. Also, why is there a chest right here? Why? What's the deal with these leaves? I just don't get it. But... I kind of want to try out this thing, because I have the FP now, so I want to see what he can do. Ooh, that looks very promising, to be honest. Looks like a very interesting cave here. Hello, who the fuck are you? Is that like... Is that like a child beast? He may be, huh? Is he just... Could this be a I don't believe it grass? Yeah, cool. Very interesting the way they've built this cave. What? Why? Well, that was weird. I feel like I should have been able to stun the small one, maybe. Also, once again, I'm just rather confused by the difficulty. So these enemies all of a sudden are very, very easy to deal with. Yet a lot of the stuff that I've encountered in the overworld and this sort of general area so far seems to be, you know, a lot more difficult. I guess we probably have to... I mean, you can jump down, which I suspect is going to be a way to probably reach the boss very fast from the starting point of the cave, but yeah, this seems to be somewhat the only way to continue normally. Whatever normal is in these circumstances. Well, this looks interesting. Ah! There is another one of these beasts. Or these bigger beasts. Is that the only one? Or is... Ah! Thought I heard you. Oh, shoot! Can you... Why the fuck do you get stuck on that weird ledge? How... Can you... Ugh. Okay, something is definitely wrong with the... There is something wrong with the... There's something wrong with the basic control things of the game. That was a lot more complicated than it needed to be. But yeah, there's clearly something wrong. So I was just scrolling through these items. I don't know if it's the controller that I have maybe, but it only ever happens here, it feels like. But while I was scrolling through the items, somehow I also changed my weapon, even though I didn't want to? Yeah, that was strange. That shouldn't have happened. Oh well. Also, one thing that was pretty cool is I ducked under his attack while I was activating my holy thing on my sword. I wish it would always work like that. I wish it would always give you sort of iframes to duck under the attack of your opponent while you were doing it. That would be awesome if you could time it like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like it, so... Yeah, but that would have been cool. That would have been an awesome design of this thing, if that was in fact the case. If they had designed this whole attack thing like that. Okay, so that talisman is giving us what exactly? Enhances counterattacks unique to thrusting weapons, okay. Spears are standard weapons for soldiers in the lands between. They made it possible to respond to a ferocious foe with an equally ferocious counterattack. Okay. Cool, I guess. Also, can you not jump while you're locked on? Because that's what I was trying to do when I got stuck here, right? I kind of wanted to jump back. But I think since I was locked on, I wasn't actually able to jump. Although that doesn't really make any sense. You should be able to jump while you're locked on, right? I don't think that that's something that they take away from you just because you lock on. Okay, I guess then you have to actually jump down. Interesting. I really like these crystal structures on the wall. They have a very cool color. What is that? Are we in some crystal lizard? Crystal lizard thing now? Crystal slugs, rather? Whoa! So they have some sort of magic attack then? I don't know if it's my holy damage or whatever, but at least they're not really difficult to defeat, seemingly. Throwing daggers. Who brought all these weapons down here? That is crazy! That's like, what, 40 spears or something? That doesn't make any sense. Who transport that many weapons down here, and for what purpose exactly? I mean, yeah, maybe to mine these crystals in a way, but that many? Are you serious? So apparently there are actually hidden walls in Elden Ring. And apparently they sometimes also, that's just what I read on Twitter actually, apparently they sometimes just need a lot of hits to get through, which is like one of the worst designs that I've ever seen in a game, if that's actually true. I don't know. But yeah, no idea. I mean, this very much seems to be like an optional path, doesn't it? But I don't want to stand here hitting a wall for like 10 minutes, so I'm not gonna do it. Huh. What a weird cave. Also, I had kind of hoped to maybe find, you know, more useful materials, like upgrade materials for weapons or something, but sadly... Oh, whoops. One was still alive. Sadly, that doesn't seem to be the case. Well, I mean, at least I can hit them. I was, you know, I had the slight fear that since there are these weird crystal slugs that I maybe wasn't able to properly hit them, but it does seem to be possible. Soft cotton. Oh, right. I always forget that that exists as well. I actually wonder, well, how much it sort of does. Do I want to try attacking that from here? Of course, it's out of range. Should have known. Oh, for fuck's sake. I guess I have to jump down then. I think this is going to be the boss room? Smithing Stone 4? Are you fucking serious? I need the 3 one still! Well, that's a 2. Okay. The sound the crystals make is strange. They sound like very sort of squishy rocks. Not actually, you know, not actually quite as hard as you would suspect them to be. Is it just a normal enemy? Let's go. Oh. Well, it sort of is, I guess. Oh, I hate when they do that. They can't really seem to decide on whether or not they should actually do the ranged attack or just jump in. That'd look kind of weird. Well, this is going to be annoying if I have to run back to the boss. Although then again, they usually have like a statue of Marika next to it, right? Half expecting... Oh. Oh, are you fucking serious? One of these annoying ones? Can you please just... Oh. See, it happened again! Saw that I changed my weapon, right? Oh, for fuck's sake, I hate... So now, for whatever weird reason, they didn't have a fog wall in front of it. And also apparently no statue of Marika for whatever weird reason. Ugh. Well, I mean, it wasn't that many runes, so I guess I don't really care. But yeah, I was actually, so for some awkward reason, I was scrolling through my things like this, right? And I thought, and that's why I noticed it this time, the way I placed my finger on the controller, I was actually too far to the left, right? So I almost accidentally hit the left D-pad button. But for some reason, scrolling through everything changed my right weapon, which it shouldn't have. So clearly there's definitely something finicky going on. I don't know if it's the controller, I don't know if it's the PS5, or if it's the game. But there clearly something doesn't work properly here. Yeah, and I thought that I was going to fight like a crystal slug or something, but I don't know. This seems to be a somewhat boring enemy, to be completely honest. Also, why the fuck do they make you run back through this entire cave? With ranged enemies as well. Why? What a weird decision. Why didn't they place a statue of Marika at the very end? Yet again, this seems, I don't know, this almost seems like a sort of, how can you put it? Like, as if these things were designed by different teams or something? You know, and some teams are sort of still on the older FromSoft game idea of having the player run back to bosses, and then sometimes they don't do that. What a weird decision. Seriously? Are you fucking serious? Why do they place 3 of them right next to the boss? I mean, how to make something even more annoying then, huh? Can you... Oh yeah, this is absolutely awesome. Of course, yeah. That's how you want a game to work, don't you? Can you please stop hitting him? Oh, he's really... Oh, for fuck's sake. I hate this boss so much. Oh, now I get it. My fucking summon is fighting the damn slugs through the... Oh. What the... Huh? The fuck was that? Thank you. Oh, right, I don't have FP anymore. Thank you. Cerulean Amber Medallion. Yeah, this boss fight was properly tested. Of course it was. They definitely tested running back to the boss with these weird slugs still around. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you see that? So I traversed the mist and then got rooted in place because I was still standing in the slug attack. Like these crystals, they paralyze you for a second or something, right? But obviously I was through the mist, and then my summon kept fighting the slugs through the mist instead of fighting the boss. Yeah, this is... Wow! I mean, past FromSoft games weren't perfect, right? There was always a little bit of weirdness that was going on. But it seems like they had a lot of QA problems with Elden Ring. To the point where they potentially weren't able to even test a lot of the stuff. Which is rather unfortunate. And I also didn't expect to come out the other side. See, I mean, this is what makes this game so good. in a lot of ways, right? The fact that you go through this cave, normally caves just end. I mean, there's been one that didn't, that led me to another island, but suddenly we're at a completely different place, right? With a lot of very interesting stuff potentially going on. I can mark this off as done, by the way. Yet, at the same time, you feel sort of, well, underwhelmed by the whole thing because the boss was so shit, right? And it wasn't even necessarily the boss's design. I mean, to a degree it was, because it was just a reused boss. I had already fought him, right? So that was kind of boring. The fact that they don't even let you spirit summon properly before he attacks you is another thing that shouldn't happen, really. Because the spirit summon ultimately means that he'll always hit you at least once, which is yet another really awkward design choice that just seems a QA problem. Yeah, the fact that the fog door doesn't work properly, all these kinds of things, they really take away from what should have been a very awesome experience, right? Coming out the other side, realizing, oh wait, fuck, there's more to this place, right? All of that, really, really cool. This awesome moment of discovery mixed in with the disappointment of the boss not properly working. Also, who are you?
Foul tarnished. What do you want?
Wow, you look dead.
That I possess no such medallion. Or have you come to take more from me? Was my other half not enough?
The fuck are you talking about? Wait, first of all, I want to look at the medallion. I don't think that it really... Well, yeah, it raises maximum FP. I already knew that. Okay, yeah. Doesn't really say anything more than that.
I told the all-hearing brute already that I possess no such medallion. Or have you come to take more from me? Was my other half not enough?
What's she going on about? What was this cave called? Oh, oops. Lakeside Crystal Cave. Sitting next to a wolf? Other half of the medallion or something. What the fuck is she talking about? Did we meet her at some point? I don't think we have, to be completely honest. So she must be talking about another tarnish that potentially hurt her wolf. I mean, he doesn't look... Is he dead? Might be dead, huh? But... So the only sort of half of a medallion that I know of would be... Wait, where is it? The, this one, right? The Deptus medallion left. But didn't we find this in the fort? The fort of Lord Kenneth? And I haven't seen any kind of other wolf or something there.
I told the all-hearing brute already.
The all-hearing brute. No idea who that is.
No such medallion. Or have you come to take more from me? Was my other half not enough?
Wait, she told that to the all-hearing brute. Should I know who the all-hearing brute is? So that's who took her first half of the medallion? Is that connected to... I mean, maybe Well, technically, there has to be the other half of the medallion somewhere as well. Maybe she's talking about that, and maybe this all-hearing brute has that other half. Such an interesting, or potentially interesting NPC that doesn't tell you anything for whatever reason. Hey, a rune arc. An item that loses all its meaning once you die. Great. Slumbering Wolf's Shack. Latenna the Albinoric? Okay. I guess the Site of Grace is just here so that you can travel back to her if you want to. Okay. Sure, I guess.
I told the all that I possess, or have you come as my other half?
But wait, if she doesn't possess a medallion at all, what kind of half was taken from her? I guess the wolf was killed? And that's who she's talking about? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, lady, I guess. No idea what that's about. Still wondering how you're supposed to get back here. Probably through a teleporter, to be completely honest. Because just looking on the map, I don't think that there is actually a way to get there. Right? I mean, you can see that, like, the whole thing from here, but yeah, I mean, this clearly is not a path that we can take. Oh well, guess I'll go back to Patches and then check out the other islands that I wanted to go first before I went into this cave. But also, once again, something that I was very confused by is how little HP the boss in the cave had. It felt like he had even less HP than the boss in the Everjail. Wait, what Everjail was that? I think... No, this was the Frost Mage thing. This one. The Forlorn Hound, Everjail, yeah. That's when I first fought the same type of enemy, but I feel like the one in this Everjail, which is very, very close to the start of the game, had potentially even higher HP, or at least equal the HP to the boss that I just fought now in this cave. Which is just strange. I mean, shouldn't this one be more powerful? Theoretically, or maybe they have the same HP value, but then why do other enemies that are the same don't have the same HP? At this point, I'm just absolutely confused what FromSoft is trying to tell me here. Like, are their HP values and enemy strengths just sort of random? Or what? I mean, it seems to be somewhat impossible to actually discern, you know, whether or not you're strong or not strong against enemies in a lot of cases. Oh, hi. It's a bunch of you. Yeah, can you all please just come to me? I don't want to fight you while I'm fighting the big guy. Well, it is certainly nice of them that they're just approaching me, right? And letting me kill all of them before I fight the last one. Why? Okay. His attacks have a very short wind-up sometimes. Also, I'm more and more getting the feeling that I'm missing a lot of defensive stuff as well. But, I mean, that's just, again, in general, problematic for me. I feel like a glass shard, that's all that I did this for. Yeah, I feel like I'm really missing in like the health department, the defensive department, and the offensive department. It feels like, oh, can you like decide on? Can you please decide whether or not you want to attack me? For fuck's sake, I hate these things. They fly around you the entire time, not really attacking you, not giving you an opportunity to actually attack them, but at the same time, they're also like not attacking, and then sometimes they're attacking. I don't know. Rickety shield. Okay, wait. That's the island dealt with. I don't necessarily think that there's anything too interesting to the left here, right? I mean, this just leads back to the side of grace that I came from. We've already discovered the cave, so I don't think there's anything too interesting over here, to be completely honest. Just one of those riders. I mean, we've already fought them. They're just connected to... They're connected to the ruins, yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's anything too interesting. I have a feeling I wouldn't really miss too much if I didn't go back there. This, on the other hand, looks a lot more interesting. That's just a soldier camp, though, right? But this... I haven't seen these, this giant... these staff things that they've built here. I haven't seen them before. Ooh, also they look different, don't they? Oh, wait. Replenish the flask first. Ah, that's also why they have these. So they are not normal soldiers then. They're... well, holy fuck! They're witches of some kind, or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Who are you? Whoa. Ooh. Did not expect him to do that. What are they about? They seem like... they seem very different, right? They have thorns as well. Fire Spermy. What kind of face is that? Almost does look somewhat like a woman, maybe? What are these guys about? Fire monks. Okay. Well, that answers some questions at least. Fire monks. Prayer book. So they have some... I guess they are the ones that are responsible for the fire incantations then. The fire is placed on a statue head. Statue head. We can... Wait, where are the books usually? Is it here? Yeah. Give to learn cleric. O flame and search O flame. That's probably what this monk just did against me, right? Prayer book of the fire monks, who came from the mountaintops of the giants far to the north. Okay. I wonder what they're doing here then, though. I mean, I don't know. They just strike me as something that would be opposed to the Academy of Raya Lucaria, right? A bit more sort of feral, a bit more ferocious magic compared to the more elegant magic of the Academy. Also, why the fuck does my summon not stay around for these guys? What's up with that? But yeah, I wonder if they are potentially an opposing faction. Maybe they heard about the Academy sort of, or these lands being destroyed or something, and so they maybe thought that it was time to, I don't know, deal with this place in a way. Ooh, that goes further than I thought. At least it's finally an enemy I can use my magic against. Although I still think that was... Yeah, I sometimes just don't know anymore. He had some weird attacks in terms of animation as well, or like when the actual hit came out. And the HP values of these guys, man. I mean, look at how often I had to hit him with my spell. Yeah, I don't know. And they just built their camp sort of randomly in the area, or what was their original plan here? Why here specifically? Or maybe, well, are they talking about this mountaintop? No, I don't think so. That would be weird. I don't think that's the mountaintop of the giants that they're referring to. Is there even anything here beyond the Everjail? Or, well, there's a card, at least. All these small guys. Oh, for fuck's sake. I do find it very interesting that they're, you know, that they're hiding or trying to hide their approach with these smoke bombs. That is actually pretty cool. I do like their design. I'm still... I read that as well at some point. I think in this case, Joseph Anderson said it again. The fact that bleed works through shields is weird. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? Why would you start bleeding if you're actually blocking all the incoming damage with your shield? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe it's for some sort of balance reason. Maybe they feel like otherwise bleed wouldn't be effective enough. Or something, but it is a somewhat awkward choice, in my opinion. And this just leads to an Everjail, I suspect? At least that's what it looks like on the map. Is there no... Wait. No, it doesn't look like there's actually a statue of Marika here. Whoa! Hello! They can hide pretty well, though. Not gonna lie. Let's actually turn on the lamp. I do see you, though. Hi. I also still have no idea, like, what they actually are or where they came from. Didn't we get Volga Militia Saw? Didn't we get some sort of information about them at some point? They're very Bloodborne-like, I feel like. Not only their, how they're looking, but also the weapons. Yeah, I think I actually got a weapon from them at some point, potentially. The Volga Militia Saw. A weapon comprised of a saw blade attached to a long grip, brandished by the Volga Militia. Its serrated edge is very effective at inflicting blood loss. The saw is said to also be used to cut up bodies to feed the militia, but there are no first-hand witnesses to confirm the dire rumor. Volga Militia. Funny name. I mean, what am I supposed to make of this, right? These guys, we've seen them a couple of times. We've seen them here. We've seen them in Caelid, which that in and of itself is weird because, I mean, why would they exist all over the place, right? That seems strange to a degree. But then at the same time... Oh, was he trying to get behind me or something? Maybe. But... yeah, it's very, very hard to tell what their sort of purpose is or why they exist. I mean, why are they hiding here? What's that about? Also, this place looked a lot more open on the map, to be honest. Very interesting with these. Oh, I'm not even there yet. For some reason, I thought I was actually at the Everjail. This is just sort of on the way to it. Yeah, I mean, like, what are they doing here? They're just hiding in these bushes, but for what? I mean, there's nothing here that would be worth defending. Strange. Really, really strange. Okay, Oh. Well, there's even more of them here as well. Whoa! That looks interesting. That looks like a fun weapon, to be honest. Can you... Are you fucking kidding me? How did that not hit any of them? Yeah, I like that. So their AI seems to be programmed to run behind you as soon as one of them is throwing one of those smoke bombs. Volga Militia Greaves. At least it's a very sort of unique way of what they're doing compared to other enemies. That's pretty cool. Once again, I just wish we had more info on them. That would make them actually interesting. Volga Militia Greaves. Freshly singed battlegrounds effusing with the stench of the dead. Filthy militiaman. Forbidden lands that will be excised from the memory of history. This is where the Volga militia serve as untiring, unsung watchkeepers. What? Freshly singed battlegrounds, effusing with the stench of the dead. Why is that one sentence? What is it referring to? It feels like there's a sentence missing there, doesn't it? Forbidden lands that will be excised from the memory of history. Isn't that talking more about Caelid? I mean, that's the only place that actually fits this description, I feel like. This is where the Volga militia serve as untiring, unsung watchkeepers. Untiring, unsung watchkeepers. Of Forbidden Lands. Battlegrounds. With the stench of the dead. That's all, you know, quite interesting. It just doesn't really fit where we found them. I mean, you know, when I found them in Caelid, they certainly seem to fit in there pretty well, but in this case, why are they here? I mean, this is just some random mountaintop somewhere. I mean, like, huh? Also, the star, the sky looks very cool, but I mean, doesn't that contradict that description? Like, what the fuck? That doesn't make sense at all. The description that we get there doesn't even closely fit anything that this place resembles. I do have a lot of rooms, though, so I wonder if I should attempt this Everjail. I mean, since there is a Marika thing nearby. Also, for some random reason, these worms all of a sudden have a lot higher HP. I guess. I wish they would have put a site of grace here. Although then again, there is that like wind current that you can take up here. It's probably the easier choice, to be honest. Malefactors ever jail. The fuck is that? Okay. Well, yeah, there is a statue of Marika here. I'm not that close to a level up, but at the same time, I mean, okay, so you can, there's literally like a wind thing here, so I can just warp back here and then come back up, which I think I'm going to do because I want to sell some stuff and level up. I need 16,879. 16,879. Did you have anything else that I needed? No. Why the fuck is he selling these? Why not the number 3 ones? I don't get it. Okay, immunity. Yeah, I want to keep those. 16 what? 16,879. Let's see. These I wanted to keep, right? These are very close to what I'm wearing anyways, I feel like. I mean, they're actually pretty good, to be quite honest, in terms of the stats. They only weigh about 0.3 more than what I'm currently wearing, yet they have higher resistances. Well, not robustness, though. They do have one more point in poise. Well, they're only worth 10. Let me actually see what they look like. Yeah, I mean, their robustness, I don't like that they're not as robust. Not that that makes any kind of a difference, but they look kind of cool, don't they? I mean, not exactly cool, but I feel like they fit my overall character style. I think I'm gonna stick with them for now, to be honest. Kind of sad that I haven't really found other better things. I mean, I have, it's just that most of it looks like absolute shit. Oh, okay. Sell. Do I want to sell my other boots then? At least that way I can never go back. I think I'm actually going to do that. I mean, technically I'm supposed to be a confessor, but I mean, that hasn't really panned out the way I wanted it to anyways at this point. Honestly, I feel like, unfortunately, that the weapon that I chose is just not really good. You know, I honestly think that one of the, at least against most enemies, I don't know how that is with actual bosses like Margit or Godric. I feel like in those cases it's not that beneficial, but in general, you have a way easier time with enemies if you can stagger them reliably, which I feel like I should have chosen, like, heavier weapons, maybe, potentially, but then at the same time, it's also... yeah, it's difficult to say, to be quite honest. There's a lot of stuff in here that is just... I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of weird in a lot of ways. Okay, these are weird as well. So they have a lot more poise, but they have a lot less focus and vitality. A lot less immunity as well. They're kind of interesting in a way. Did I ever read their description? Oh, well. Let's get rid of those things then. Sage roll. Why did I keep that anyways? Hey, that weighs the exact same. Foot soldier tablet. Why is it worth 200? That's strange. That's worth 1,000. Interesting. Rickety shield. I sold this at some point in the past. And this is just... These are very similar to one another, right? Gilded iron shield, blue-white wooden shield. Although this one's heavier. Let's just sell this. And I got a second brass shield at some point. Interesting. Probably can sell these as well. The ballista bolts. I need to level this up at some point as well. Although I'm not too sure, I mean, this staff is at +6, and yet it doesn't really feel like all that powerful, to be honest. Can sell the second one of those. Forked great swords. Yeah, I can definitely get rid of that. Let's see, what else do we have? Do I maybe want to sell that? Bloodhound's Fang. Why is that a different category? Oh, that's a curved sword, and this is a curved greatsword. Ah, I get it. Okay. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of curved swords, to be honest. And at this point, I have so many weapons that I need to get rid of a couple of them. Probably want to get rid of this as well. Think I can get rid of the normal scythe. Hook claws. I mean, these are pretty cool. Honestly, I would like to come up with a build with these, but I don't know how viable they would be, to be honest. Which is, once again, right, I mean, there are so many, like, really, really cool and interesting weapons in this game, but you just can't use them, because it's almost impossible, seemingly, to upgrade your weapons, you know, in a way where you can use multiple. Because my current weapon is at +7, and I'm struggling to get it to +8 because I just can't seem to find any more smithing stones 3. For my first weapon, right? So never mind the second one, so that is honestly quite frustrating. The fact that it's so hard to switch weapons. Although I do want to try out this one at some point, the winged scythe. I'm keeping that in mind for later. Do I just want to get rid of the pike as well? Because if I wanted to use spears, I would go for either this one or the great spear. Let's get rid of the normal pike. At least that cleaned out the inventory somewhat. Okay. So I have 5 of these now. At least I can upgrade my weapon finally. To +8. I should probably do that before I attempt this Everjail. Upgrade a couple of things. Although that also means that I need to get even more runes, unfortunately. Oh yeah, before I start selling stuff from here, should probably start with these ones. Oh shit, I actually shoot. I thought I had a lot more. Oopsie, I guess. I need... Well, fuck. I thought I had a lot more of those things. 22, 20... Yeah, I won't... I need 2,000 more. Holy shit. Is it farm time again? I guess it is. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't... We'll see. Let's go back to the round table. Yeah, I also... I still think that you just don't get enough rooms in this game, man.
You were willing.
Okay.
That is a work of heresy.
Yeah, no shit. You always say that.
Bear no lineage from the Earth Tree. Very well. I'll take it off your hands.
That is so weird, right? That doesn't make any sense. So he's always saying that, yet he still teaches us these things. Momentarily sparks roaring flame from hand. So that's an upgraded version of catch flame. That's interesting. Incantation of the fire monks. The giant's flame still smolders upon the distant northern mountaintop, and the fire monks are its guardians. Well, if they are its guardians, what are they doing, like, south of the academy, then? Search O Flame. Incinerates area before caster with Stream of Fire. Oh, so it's only 1 FP, but I guess it just consumes your FP? Superior Incantation of the Fire Monks. Creates a stream of fire to burn the area before the caster. This incantation can be cast while in motion. Hold to maintain the effect, yeah. The giant's flame is the flame of ruin, capable of burning the Earth Tree. And so, following the war against the giants, its ruinous blaze was sealed, and guardians were appointed to watch over it. Okay. The giant's flame is the flame of ruin, capable of burning the Earth Tree. Okay. I'm trying to fit this information together with what we know about Caelid, because there is a minor Earth Tree in Caelid that looks very much normal. But then again, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. So the fire monks... So they were appointed to watch over the giant's flame. Oh, that's capitalized. Giant's flame. Flame of ruin. Capable of burning the Earth Tree. Absolutely no idea what the implication of that would be. So, well, first of all, how does it exist? Second of all, why was it never used to burn down the Earth Tree? War against the giants. So, I mean, I guess that's why we're finding these, I guess, corpses of the giants near the remaining structures of the Eternal City. I mean, for example, the long white bridge that leads from Stormvale to the Divine Tower of Limgrave, there are a lot of those giant corpses up there. Interestingly enough, though, a couple of them are still alive, and they all burn with this flame, right? That's, I guess, how they're kept alive, which makes me wonder what they are, really. I mean, they look very... They look sort of strange, right? Almost as if they were constructed rather than actual being a living being. And if some of them still live, I mean, I thought, like, how many? 5 or something, right? I mean, there's one standing in front of Castle Morn. There's another one that you just randomly find in Limgrave next to a bunch of other giants. And then there are a lot of them on the bridge leading to the Divine Tower. So, I mean, 3 that are still alive, but a lot more corpses as well. I mean, yeah, there was a war against them at some point. Apparently, they're capable of burning down the Erdtree, but they're clearly not fully defeated. They still exist. But we know, I don't think we know anything about why they exist. I don't think we know anything about their past. We don't really know anything about... Well, I mean, we're probably going to this mountaintop at some point, so I guess we'll find out more about them at that point. But, I mean, that's certainly weird. And then I guess, I don't know, did they... But then, so these giants, they seem like they're only living because this flame even exists, right? So it's not necessarily something that they've specifically created to fight against whoever's guarding the Erdtree or, you know, I guess the Golden Order or whatever. They always had that somehow. Which makes me question, well, why, right? Why did they have that? Are they some sort of Dalin's force to, I don't know, fight against the Erdtree if there's something that, you know, is threatening the balance between good and evil of the entire realm? Or, you know, is it like an equivalent to, I don't know, something out of hell? So the thing here is, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about the lands between being more of a concept rather than an actual place, or rather being the sort of in-between realm between heaven and hell, and this might be where people go if they die on the actual earth. Something like that, right? I'm still thinking in the back of my mind that that's maybe what's happening here, and then these whole lands between are just sort of this eternal struggle of, well, the Erdtree and the Golden Order against, I don't know, this Flame of Ruin and the giants and everything that is connected to. I don't know. So far, that's been the only, I guess, explanation that would tie everything here together in sort of a neat way, because every other explanation would need a lot more assumptions and a lot more, well, explaining for a lot of things.
May the Golden Order...
Okay, let's upgrade my weapon first. Although I so desperately want to level as well.
Well, I took you've no man to lay out your own.
+8. Why is it not changing the scaling? Shit. I can upgrade these things. Inner seal +4. Still no idea why you can upgrade shields. I don't know what's up with all of this. I just don't know. It seems like I'm missing something. Are you supposed to grind runes at some point? Or are you supposed to...
Greetings.
Yeah, I don't really know anymore. I was also talking with my, when we were raiding on Thursday in Final Fantasy, I was talking with my static a little bit about Elden Ring, and I think one of us said, it feels like Elden Ring is difficult for the wrong reasons, and I would agree with that. Instead of having, very interesting enemy attack patterns and just overall very cool, I mean, don't get me wrong, the game has that, right? The game definitely has cool enemy designs, it has cool attack designs and stuff. I'm not saying that it doesn't have that at all. It definitely has that. It's just that for the most part, unfortunately, also let's not spend all of our rooms. I want to get the incantations first. But for the most part, it seems like fights, do have the sort of problem of being difficult for the wrong reasons. And, what that means is mostly, well, some fights are difficult because enemies just deal tons of damage. Some fights are difficult because enemies have tons of HP. They're never difficult because they actually have, cool attacks. I mean, they sometimes do, but especially the sort of most flashing attacks, like the ones that look the best, are very rarely actually their best attacks, right? They're the flashiest, but they're also mostly the easiest to avoid.
Greetings. Are you here for...
But yeah, sadly it does feel somewhat like the game is yeah, difficult for the wrong reasons, I guess, is actually the best way to put it. Well, now I've spent all my runes and I haven't leveled. Great. Well, let's try the Everjail. I guess I can craft them again, huh? I can also craft one of these now, since I've found one of these pots. The Beast Lure pot. Although I don't think I actually need it. Why does this consume FP? Like, seriously? Throw to create a red shadow. Oh, well, never... well, I guess it's magic, right? Well, I have smoldering butterflies again. But I think I'm gonna keep those things for when I potentially need more. did I want to say? When I'm fighting like things that are weak to fire, right? Also, let me actually, since I still haven't changed out my incantations since I lost the effects of the Great Rune. Let me see, because obviously I can't use this without my arcane stuff currently. Also, did I actually get... I think I wanted to try this as well at some point. Unfortunately, the ambush shard still seems to be, well, just not very good. The bubbles I don't really need either. I still need to level faith. Do I want to equip the Search of Flame? Although this specifically incinerates the area before the caster, right? I feel like O Flame might actually be more beneficial in a lot of situations. Well, let's maybe try... I think I should actually use the Ambush Shard a bit more, because I feel like I've not really properly tested it. But I also want to try out a couple of other things as well. Crystal Barrage? It's kind of a new thing as well, isn't it? Fires larger magic projectiles from Glen. Let's maybe try this. I think I haven't really tried that at all. So many cool things, and it feels like you can never properly utilize them because it's always, you know, they always take so long to cast, and enemies' attacks are usually way too fast. Well, that was a sound. Wait, was I... This is part of the ruins, though, right? I'm just wondering because I see those guys over there, but... I am fairly certain that I actually looked through all of these. Well, let's see how much of an insane HP pool this enemy has. And what it is. Yeah, let's just start with the shield, huh? Aiden. Thief of Fire. Well, he doesn't have too much. What the fuck is that? Whoa. That does burn the ground as well. It's interesting, so he seems to be, you know, like these small guys that we've met on the way here, so as I sort of suspect that they were potentially trying to, you know, guard this Everchael. Wait, he can heal? Or he was trying to heal that? What the fuck happened there? See, it changed my weapon again, even though... Bye-bye. Well, he was easy. Oh. Flame of the Fell God. So that's the... whatever he was using, right? Well... Huh? Well, at least this explained why these small dudes were here, sort of in front of the Zeba jail, right? So they potentially protected him. Why was this fight so easy? Like, what the hell? He was insanely slow compared to most other enemies. His fire magic was cool looking, but ultimately completely irrelevant because it was incredibly slow and you can just run away from it. He was doing insane damage for whatever reason. No idea why. He, was I full at that point? I don't think I was, but there is, yeah, I don't know. That was certainly weird. Okay, I'm beginning to think that I might be the one actually hitting. And yeah, maybe that's actually my fault. I don't know. Is that maybe it's the new PlayStation controller? Because I think, so the thing that I'm always doing, right, is that usually you have your thumbs on the analog sticks, right? And then you have, well, you also use your thumbs for the face buttons and the D-pad, right? And then you have your pointing fingers for R1, R2, and stuff like that, right? But obviously, I mean, there is this sort of, I think it's always called like a claw grip or something. So if you want to keep moving with your character, right, but still hit the D buttons, which is also why, unfortunately, why the Elden Ring controls are so badly designed, is because they force you to do this, right? If you want to keep moving but also cycle through items, you need to use your pointing finger on the D-pad, which just makes this really awkward claw grip. And I think sometimes I'm just very also slightly hitting the right D-pad button, while also, even though I only want to hit the downward one. Ah, yeah, okay, so that, I just saw what happened, because I was looking at my controller while I was doing it. Yeah, so there is... well, that is interesting. I feel like that wasn't really a problem on the PlayStation 4 controllers ever. So the thing is with the D-pad on the PlayStation controllers, the D-pad I always liked, right? And the reason for it is because it's these 4 separate buttons. But underneath on the controller itself, right, on the board, they're all connected. They're still your normal D-pads that you also have on other controllers. It's just that on the surface, they're 4 different buttons. I feel like sort of the clickiness of the D-pad on the PS5 is just a bit sort of, well, I don't know how to describe it, but it's certainly like a bit heavier. It's a bit more clicky than on the PS4 controller, I feel like. Maybe that's also because the buttons are slightly larger. Shit, I don't have my PS4 controller next to me, but I don't know. It's something to do with that. And the result of it is that even though I'm only pressing, so if I'm using this claw grip, right, I'm sort of hitting the down arrow on the D-pad very high up, right? I'm not hitting the downward button just as itself. I'm hitting the downward button very high up. See, it happened again. I wasn't pressing the right D-pad. I was only pressing down in that instance, but it still activates the right one as well. Even though I'm not pressing it. That's interesting. And that's because I'm hitting the downward arrow key, or the downward D-pad button on its sort of top right corner. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but I'm hitting the downward D-pad button on its top right corner. So very closely to the right D-pad button. I'm not actually hitting the right D-pad button, but because of how the buttons are connected, it still changes my weapon. That's very unfortunate, so I need to be mindful of that, I think. It's just that it makes this claw grip that is already pretty uncomfortable even more uncomfortable if you need to keep an eye on only hitting sort of the downward. I don't think that was ever a problem. They definitely... I think they changed the design on the D-pad slightly compared to the... I don't know what it is. I think it's the buttons. They're really like sort of different compared to the D-pad on the PS4. I think for fighting games it would actually be better. Because it almost feels more responsive, the D-pad, right, than it did before. It's got more of a click feedback to it. It's really, really hard to describe what it is, but it feels kind of cool in that regard. But in a case like this, here in Elden Ring, where you like run the risk of changing your weapon, even though you only want to change the item you're holding, that can be very, very unfortunate. So it's definitely not a problem with the game. It's, I guess, me struggling with the PS5 controller a little bit. But let's get back to this enemy. So why the fuck was he so easy to defeat? Like, huh? This was by far the easiest ever jail that I've done. And it's in, like, this area, right? Instead of at the start. I mean, this is honestly an Everjail that I think they should have just put, well, here, right? This one, for example. They could have swapped out this one for this one. Would have made way more sense, in my opinion. Okay. Well, let's take a look at this flame thing that I got. So that's another incantation then, huh? The flame of the fell god summons a raging fireball that explodes and sets the area ablaze. 41 faith? 50... Are you kidding me? And it uses 2 slots? It's not a very good thing, though. It's way too slow. I mean, I guess using it against the AI is better, but this legendary incantation is one of several that draws directly from the power of the fire giants. Releases a ball of raging fire said to be inhabited by a fell god. The fireball floats toward enemies and explodes, setting the area ablaze. Arganthi? The chief guardian of the flame had kept this incantation a well-kept secret until it was stolen by Aiden. The fell god still lurks within the fire giants. Okay, so Arganthi or Arganthi? Arganthi. He is chief guardian of the flame. So, all of this is really interesting, right? I'm just wondering, why are we discovering this here? Because this area where we're at seemingly isn't connected. What's the fucking worm doing? Like, this area doesn't seem to be connected to the giants or the mountaintop they're sitting on, like, at all. And yet we find this here. Well, I mean, I guess this Aiden... so Aiden stole the flame of the fell god. The flame of the fell god. The fell god still lurks. Still lurks on the mountain. So I guess Aiden just took his or a couple of people with him. That's why these little guys, these militia people, were here on the mountain as well. And I guess he was hiding here in the Everjail. Which makes me now think, how do these Everjails work and why do they exist at all? Was somebody actually like sealing people away, or are they just purely a gameplay element, I wonder? Or can they seal themselves away? Maybe this Aiden guy specifically went to this Everjail so that he was safe from the giants or something? Oh wait, I think I... Releases ball of raging fire said to be inhabited by a fell god. So the god exists within... God exists within the flames? I think I misunderstood that point. Because the last sentence says, the fell god still lurks within the fire giants. And I think what that refers to is that the giants, I mean, they're kept alive by this fire within them, right? And that fire is the fell god itself, I think. Right? That's what they're referring to. Okay. But, what is going on with the balancing in this game? Why was this fight so easy, and why is it dropping something that requires 41 faith? How does that fit together? That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm really struggling to understand the sort of basic idea of the design behind this game in a lot of ways. Okay, I wanted to go back here, right? Let me just reset my stuff real quick. But yeah, I mean, what's the deal here exactly? Why are we... I mean, okay, so I definitely think that I need to increase my vigor. Which I want to do, it's just, yeah, as I said, actually getting the runes to do it isn't that easy. But I feel like enemies are hitting me. So, as I said, right, I mean, that guy that we just fought was pretty easy to deal with, all things considered, yet somehow... What's going on here? Are they, like, hiding some sort of item? But somehow at the same time... he was also insanely strong. Huh? Did I just hit through him? So, yeah, I really don't know what to make of that. Oh, hello. I really don't know what to make of it because, yeah, I mean, like, what's the deal here? What? Okay. What? What is that? Huh? That looked like an enemy still hit me somehow. I honestly thought they were going to protect some sort of item, but I guess not. What was I going on about? Oh yeah, my vigor. Yeah, I really think that I mean, the fact that an enemy that was so easy to defeat still hit me for that much makes me think that I need a lot more vigor. But, I mean, like, how? Because it honestly feels like I would need, I don't know, 30 vigor or something at this point. Oh, there's another group of them here. But for some awkward reason, you know, I mean, that's, like, what? Compared to what I currently have, that would be about... Can you please get off the horse? Thank you. I pressed the button like 4 times. Oh, oops. I'm still two-handing. Right, I wanted to... Okay, well that's not really... That didn't seem to be very strong. It's unfortunate. Well, at least now I know why this seems to be a completely separate area, because it's actually completely unreachable, at least from here. I guess that means I'll just go back here and look at these places. Oh, right, I just remembered. So Rhea, she's looking for... Wait, I completely... That's the maiden, right? Lightseeker Hayeda. Yeah, she needs the grape. Rhea is somebody else. Rhea wanted... She's looking for something, right? For like a ring? Was it a ring? She's looking for some sort of item. Guess I need to get that next. But yeah, I mean, leveling up. So if I wanted to get my Vigor to 30, let's just say, right? That would be what? I think 13 levels at this point? I mean, that's just kind of insane. That would take ages to do. And I'm not really sure... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really sure what that means, really? Oh. Well. Oh. Oops. Yeah, horseback combat is sometimes still... Oh, I just noticed how he looks. It's actually a pretty awesome look. But the chief fire monk. It looks pretty cool. Oh, for fuck's sake, now I'm back here. Let's just go over here. Yeah, I don't know, but let's just say that I had leveled differently. I don't think that would have really helped me all that much. Well, I mean, I guess I could have, had I concentrated on, but even then, right? Let's say I had concentrated on either intelligence or faith instead of both. That would have still meant that I maybe had like 8 levels more, if at all, maybe 6 in in vigor or something like that. So it honestly doesn't necessarily feel like it would have made much of a difference at all. It's one of those slugs. Glintstone pipe. Are these crystals... like, are they... do they serve some sort of purpose? Doesn't necessarily look like it, right? Oh, for fuck's sake, I rolled. I mean, maybe I can just kill all of them? Maybe I'm just missing, like, a proper way to farm runes or something? I'm just... because, I mean, you could literally run through the overworld for, like, an hour or something, and you wouldn't really be able to get enough runes to do anything too special. Okay. Let's check out this island first. Also, there's still... right, there's the hut that I need to get to, right? Where was that? Is that not on the map? I mean, I definitely need to check out these runes as well at some point, obviously. The area is built up very, very openly, right? Which is cool in a way, but also difficult to keep track of everything that I've already done and the things that I haven't done. Who are you guys? They look weird. Who are you? They look kind of cute and eerie at the same time. They don't look like... was he just doing like a spinning move? Oh yeah, he was. Holy shit. What the fuck are you? They don't... are they supposed to be like living frogs or something? But they look almost alien. Dexterity not crystal tier. Why is that lying here? How did it get here? And how the fuck do we even get up on that mountain now that I'm looking at it properly? Maybe there's some sort of special cave that leads up to the mountain? Potentially? Yeah, these guys look kind of alien in nature. I don't really know how else to put it. Strength not, dexterity, this one, right? Temporarily boosts one's dexterity. I should probably, yeah, I don't know. I feel like having a healing function isn't bad, but at the same time, the other ones seem to be a bit more useful, although... are they really? Okay, I think the hut was somewhere here. Let's look for this hut first. But then I kind of want to go back here and check out what's below this mountain. Because this looks really intriguing. I think... so that's just a piece of ruin, right? Oh, there's the hut. Never mind. Interesting that they didn't put this hut on the map. For some reason it has Boil Prawn Shack. Wait, is this... Huh. What's he doing here? Those are a lot of lobsters.
What are you looking at? You trying to start something, mate?
Give me the necklace.
That necklace what you're after, is it?
Give me the necklace.
Well, show me what it's worth to you, and I'll consider parting ways with it. I'm not in love with it or nothing.
I can just say deal? What does that mean? What is it worth to me? I mean,
You're
okay.
a shrewd one, Chief. First, you hand me the runes. And don't try nothing, neither.
Black God. There's just 1,000? Rhea's necklace, stolen by a black god. Features a relief of a dignified-looking woman from a foreign country. Appears to hold great significance for Rhea. Do we know that woman? I mean, potentially. This doesn't really give us any information about it, though. It's just 1,000? I mean, sure, why not?
Alright. Take it. Thing's no damn use to anyone anyway. Your bloody idea, mate. Don't come crying to me later. Oh, piss off. What is it now? Oh, I see. You want some of me prawn?
So he's just a vendor now.
Freshly cooked it is. Alright then. It's yours. If you can meet me price. I could be persuaded to sell you some other bits too. If you've got the runes.
What is it with you and Rhea?
Oh. So you met the girl, did you? Alright, well. Sod the particulars of the matter. But it ain't my fault she's stupid enough to get duped. Is it? Anyway. She ain't alright, that one. Lucky she ain't died on the bloody roadside, I reckon.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I feel like that with most NPCs. They're kind of like... I mean, there's literally a finger maiden that seems to be blind, that is just sort of randomly traversing these lands. And, well, she... Yeah, I don't know why these people never die. The same with Bok. Like, he's just chilling next to Site of Grace, but... Yeah, whatever. Boiled prawn. Boosts physical damage negation for a time. Well, that doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. A prime specimen of plump and moist meat. True connoisseurs know how to keep from oversalting. Boosts physical damage negation for a certain duration. The meat actually looks to have come from a crayfish. Not that it matters, it's delicious all the same. It actually looks quite delicious. Boosts physical damage negation. I think that's the first time I've actually seen an item like this. It's quite expensive though. I mean, 600 runes for one of it? It kind of depends. I feel like the effect is probably lasting for, you know, an okay amount of time, but I'm just wondering how effective it would really be. Well, the biggest problem, as always, is just consuming these things, right? When I'm thinking about enemies that I was struggling with, the biggest problem they all seem to have is that you need to find an opening, right? And if you need to find an opening purely to then use an item to take less damage, but you risk being damaged because you're using this item, you know what I'm getting at? It's a bit of a problem right there. I mean, if it would last for like 5 minutes, so you could take it before a boss fight, and then, you know, it'll be active for a time, that would be something. But this way, probably not as good. I have to keep it in mind, though. Might want to try it at some point. Really interesting that they give you a Site of Grace right next to him. How strange. Well, now the shack's on the map at least. Okay, let's go back to Rhea. See if we can figure out what this necklace is about. Where was she? Right there. Hi. Also, is there a reason why you're standing like that? You look kind of freaky, you know that, right?
The thug should be resting at an abandoned home down the way. Please, I must have the necklace back.
Rosette, does your stance have something to do with missing the necklace?
Oh yes, that is my missing necklace. Thank you kindly. I am in your debt. Did I forget to announce myself? I am Raya, in the service of Lady Tanith of the Volcano Manor. I seek stalwart Tarnished, who might join our house. You are very brave yourself.
Okay.
Not only a steady hand, but a steady heart. Merciless, even to your own kind. Such strength is precisely what my mistress seeks. Please, take this.
Volcano Manor invitation. Okay. Why are we getting so much? Am I, like, misunderstanding something about this volcano? Why are we getting so much about volcanoes and the giants and whatever here? Next to the academy in Liornia, if that's, isn't the volcano and everything, wouldn't that be the next area? Weird.
Brave Tarnished, seek the Altus Plateau, the realm of the Erd Tree. Most Tarnished are doomed to wander the outskirts of the lands between, peering wistfully at the towering Erd Tree. But you are no ordinary Tarnished. And once that is proven, the Volcano Manor will fully extend its invitation to fight amongst a family of champions.
Okay. I am no ordinary Tarnished. Oh, for fuck's sake, I always forget to capitalize it. What does that mean? Volcano Manor fully extends invitation as soon as we have proven ourselves special. And then Tarnished are wondering. That is like one of the first times the game has sort of properly addressed, or more specifically addressed, Tarnished. Are wandering the lands between. I think she said wistfully. Wistfully looking up at the Erd Tree. I mean, there is so much in there that just... I mean, what does it mean in the grand scheme of things, right? What does this actually mean? What are we tarnished? Why are we the only ones that seem quote-unquote normal? And, well, why are they all looking at the Earth Tree? Why are they all sort of guided by grace or not guided by grace anymore in a lot of cases? It's very, very hard to try and figure out sort of the whole thing. And I mean, apparently we're not really meant to figure it out yet, right? But it seems very hard to make out what it actually is about, all of this, right?
One more thing. Only for you. This land of Liurnia is connected to the Altus Plateau by the Grand Lift of Dectus, beyond the high road. But the lift has been defunct for an age, meaning there's no simple means of passage. Instead, you must seek the old ruins in the cliff. At the base of the valley, near the Grand Lift, there's an old tunnel. It was excavated from both ends, linking Liurnia to the Altus Plateau.
Okay.
I have faith in you. A champion through and through. I do hope that we can meet again.
So a tunnel is connecting the Altus Plateau to Liurnia. Because the lift doesn't work anymore. We do have one of the two parts that are required to get the lift working again, though. So I'm wondering where the second one is.
The old ruins in the cliff. At the base of the valley, near the Grand Lift, there's an old tunnel. It was excavated from I have faith in you.
Yeah.
I do hope.
Well, now I'm thinking that, are they maybe talking... So I thought that the Altus Plateau was sort of up here, right? Next to this volcano-looking place? Sort of in between Liurnia and the capital? But now I'm thinking that they're maybe talking about these cliffs over here, but they seem to be so small, right? I mean, we're able to look at this cliffside from over here, right? So from Stormvale and even from Limgrave in the beginning of the game, you can look over here. And it didn't look all too special, so now I'm kind of wondering, well, is this what they're referring to? Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. So let's. I mean, again, I have absolutely no idea whether or not that's what she's talking about. So if she's referring to sort of the valley below the cliffs, is she actually talking about that? Is she talking about like venturing below the cliffs, and there I can find some ruins that will ultimately lead me to a tunnel that'll get me up on these cliffs? Potentially? Maybe. And then we also have these things. So she is in one of them. There's several of them, though. There's a lot of them, actually. Like these, oh, she also, she's not there anymore. She's probably waiting at the manor for us. Yeah, what would they be called? Like small domes? I think they have like a... Well, they're not a pergola. That's like a more Japanese thing, right? But I do think they have like a special name. As far as I remember. I don't really remember it right now, but... I wonder why they're here. And there's a couple of them, right? They almost look like they would be... I don't know, what the... Well, I'm not going in there then, if there's some billion of these things. Although maybe I'd be able to sneak. What the fuck are you doing? Wait, is that... Why does it look so weird? Is it like... Oh, it's laying on its side, isn't it? Yeah. Shit, where's the head, though? So they're sleeping, I guess. They just have an insane amount of HP, so I don't really want to fight them. Smithing stones too? Are you fucking kidding me? Well, that one's awake. I mean, it's a pretty huge cliffside. I just... Is that supposed to be the Great Altus Plateau? Because if it is, that would be quite surprising, to be completely honest, since I thought that the Great Altus Plateau would be closer to the capital, maybe? But yeah, this very much seems to be it. Although, oh no, never mind, these aren't actually ruins. Very interesting color scheme as well. I'm trying to get to this thing. Ooh. Oh, hi! A couple of small crabs here. Well, something or someone was fighting somewhere. Oh, hello! Why is there a site of grace here? Interesting. What is this called? Folly on the Lake. Okay. Be wary of church. Well, yeah, you should always be wary of churches, to be honest. I mean, the church, right? Like, in the religion, you should be wary of. Obviously not the actual building. Buildings have done nothing wrong. The church has. Well, okay, I mean, well, it's not on the map, but I'll just try and find out whatever. This is actually, I do like the way they've built up this area, because it's somewhat confusing to a point, right? Oh, fuck. This is all... Well, I can ride through it, thankfully. I really don't want to get off my horse in this area. God, I hate the slushing sound. But, I mean, if this is here, what exactly does this mean for this area? If everything here is poisoned. Doesn't that mean that sort of rot has been taking place here? Or not rot, but... I mean, certainly something must have made this place like this, right? Can I try and get you? Well, that was easy. Vow of the Indomitable? Don't I already have something similar? Oh, it's a golden vow, and this is the Vow of the Indomitable. Skill of the ancient warriors of the Earth Tree. Hold shield aloft to imbue yourself with golden power, granting momentary invincibility. Usable on all shields. Momentary invincibility? Oh, Oh, I forgot about this as well. So, you can raise your attack power and defense with this. So that would also be a potential way to raise your defenses. The problem with those kinds of things is always that it's very, very hard to gauge how useful they would really be, right? Mainly because it just takes time to activate them. And if it says it grants you momentary invincibility, I feel like it'll only last for, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or something. Because anything other than that would be, well, somewhat overpowered, I would say. Although that being said, I mean, well, here's the thing, right? If it takes, I don't know, 5 seconds to activate, or even just 4 or 3, that would still be pretty... What the fuck is this for anyways? What is that? That's something invisible? But yeah, I mean, that would be... Well... Yeah, I'm sort of struggling to come up... What the fuck happened here? I'm struggling to come up with a proper sort of way to use these things, right? These special... Ooh, those are dead people I'm standing on. Didn't even notice. Because if it takes so long to activate, but then only gives you 10 seconds of invincibility, like, what's the point? Right? Other than PvP, potentially, most of these things wouldn't really give you that much of a benefit at all. Also, what if I just... Village of the Albinorics. Oh, that's the, That's the woman that we found, right? So she was talking about somebody, like, might have taken away a part of her... how did she, like, say that? Somebody took half of, or a foul beast took half of something? Shit, I don't remember. What the fuck happened here? Also, is that a wrong texture, or am I missing something? Is it supposed to look like his legs are see-through? Well, all of their legs are. I just noticed. Well, that can't be a bug, right? Is it supposed to look like they're slowly disintegrating or something? What the fuck happened here? Why are you fucking fighting me? Are you even alive anymore? Seems like he was, like, sad for the people that have died here, right? I mean, they seem to grieve or something. Huh. I really did not expect this to be here. Also, are you who I think you are? Wait.
Oh, it's you. Well, what do you make of it? What's happened to this village?
Hard to tell.
I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked. A waking nightmare, made by men.
Well, thanks for those words. Would be hard-pressed to find words that are more unclear than the ones that you've just talked about. Yeah, absolutely no idea what this is. Also, once again, so the amount of people, or the amount of corpses, and I know that that's actually kind of a problem with FromSoft games, the amount of corpses, logically, just doesn't make any sense. There's way too many corpses here. A place like this in a setting like this would maybe inhabit, I don't know, let's say 200 people tops. And that's like a very optimistic calculation. 50 to 100 would probably be more accurate, I feel like. Well, depending on what actually at one point belonged to this village, but still. The amount of corpses that lie around here, you know, would be like... It looks like half the population of the capital was killed here. Oh well.
But this time, I'm a woman grown, and though the suffering cannot be undone, I can still mete out justice. Justice to the oppressors. Let the scars I carve remind them. I am Nefeli Lu, warrior.
Well, thanks for that rousing speech.
But this time, and though the justice let
Okay.
the scars I...
So what the hell? What kind of oppressors? This doesn't make any... Well... I don't know, doesn't make sense. The problem is that we so far haven't really heard about any kind of potential oppressors and or somebody who would have wanted to kill people here or something, so I'm kind of... Oh, they're actually faster than I thought. You know, it's kind of like, okay, what's the deal here, right? Guess I'm summoning. I'm not really trusting these. So interestingly enough, this summon is a lot less aggressive than the other one, right? The one that's just going ham with his two weapons. This one has a ranged attack though, which is also pretty cool. He's just standing here with his like magical spear without a head. It's actually looking pretty funny, to be honest. Hey, a larval tear. That's the same item that I already have 2 of or something, right? Wait, is it? I think it's under... Is it under key items? It is. Oh no, never mind. That's the second one that I found. Okay. So, what's up with this then? Is this... Huh, there's a lot of, like, very interesting architecture here. What is that place? Yeah, I hate to point out things like this, but the amount of people that were killed here just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, not one bit. It's just way too many people. What are you on about? This village is done for. Please, even if it's just you, old Albus, hide well and still your breath. Albus? Where the fuck are we? Wait. Before I talk to him again, let's just activate the Site of Grace. Oh, for fuck's sake. Are you kidding me? Is he really only here for those couple of people? What's the point with that? That doesn't make any sense. And why is there a summoning pool here then? Oh well. I can just rest here if I want to summon him back. Okay, so this place is called the Village of the Albinorics. Village of the Albinorics. And people have been killed by oppresses? Question mark. And Albus? Who is Albus? The guy the ghost was looking for. Can I jump up there? Okay, so that's the way to continue. Fair enough. That leads more or less what I think is supposed to be the village. These ghosts still don't make any sense to me. Like, they're so weird. I don't know, it feels like they haven't been properly established within the game world, to be quite honest. Well, that's an item. I mean, there are definitely a couple more items down here as well. So, whenever I'm done with this village, I guess I'm going to... Oh, they also have sorcerers. When I'm done with this village, I guess I'll check out the rest of the surrounding area. What? Albinoric blood clot. Oh, that was just... okay. It sounded so different, the weeping sounds was so different that I thought that it was, in fact, a, like a special enemy, not a special enemy, actually an NPC or something. Ah, okay. I see. Yeah, anything that's not really a homing laser or something is just kind of weird. He's actually whispering something. Very hard to... All stars, all night, something? Makes me wish that this game also had the listening function that Sekiro has. That would be awesome, actually. Crystal sword? The fuck is that? Also, what is this place? Like, looks interesting that it's sort of transitioning from this rotten place into these crystals. Okay. So first of all, let's look at the blood clot, question mark? Is that a crafting material? Yeah. Thick, coagulated? Is that how you say it? Blood of the Albinorics. Albinorics are life forms made by human hands. Thus, many believe them to live impure lives, untouched by the Earth Tree's grace. What does that mean? Albinorics. Life forms made by human hands. Okay. Believed to leave. Believed. Believed to live impure. Impure lives. Untouched by grace. They look very human to me, though. I mean, well, clearly they're not, or at least not quote-unquote normal. But what is that supposed to mean? Oh, that looks awesome. Sword fashioned from pure crystal. A deed impossible for a human. Okay, wreathed with powerful magic, its attack scales with intelligence. The inscrutable crystallians have but one clear purpose, to safeguard their crystals unto the end. One theory posits that they yearn for the return of their creator who will carve for them new brethren. So is that what these Albinorics are? But the Crystallians, aren't those other people? Aren't those potentially the ones that we've seen in Caelid, in the Crystal Cave, that we got teleported to at some point? Feels like that was much more of a place where we potentially... Because I think weren't they also something... I don't remember what it was, but something definitely described them as Crystallians. Okay, so Crystallians... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting that you find the sword here, but obviously it doesn't confirm anything about whether Crystallians are also Albinorics, or if that's just maybe coincidence that both of them are mentioned here, but it's a very interesting connection nonetheless that this item was placed here. So they can fashion weapons out of pure crystal. Which is apparently impossible for humans. And they safeguard their crystals yearn for their creator. Who will carve new brethren. Whatever that means. So was their creator human then? Because it feels like it might be a hint towards, maybe humans created these, both the Crystallians, if there's something different, and the Albinorics. Maybe they're the same, we don't really know yet, but maybe humans created them specifically because they would then be able to, for example, carve these weapons? Interesting thing about this one is that it has a pretty good base physical thing while also scaling with intelligence and magic stuff. I wonder how good this would be if upgraded. See, this is exactly why I think I don't know. I feel like the game needs something to reimburse you with upgrade materials or something so that you can like try out different weapons. Cause I mean, look at this. And I've already sold a bunch of them as well. There are so many really, really awesome weapons in the game that are just sort of unusable because it takes, I don't know. I mean, I think that at some point later, because I've, you know, I don't know, read some random YouTube videos, title or something. I mean, that, obviously that's logical. Theoretically, I think you can actually farm these upgrade materials. Cause I've already gotten them from normal enemies as well. I think at some point I got like a smithing stone 3 from, I think it was those weird imps in the catacombs. So, you know, theoretically I could boost my item discovery, just go into those specific catacombs and just kill imps until I get enough upgrade materials. But first of all, that's not really fun, I feel like. And second of all, yeah, I don't really know the drop rate. So that could also be something that is very, very boring to do. And the amount of these smithing stones is also quite something. I mean, you need, like, what, 12? Of every kind, so 12 number 1s, 12 number 2s, 12 number 3s, to get one weapon to +9, right? So if I were to switch my weapon over, I currently have a +8 one. If I were to try this crystal sword, and the problem here is, I don't even know how good this could be. Maybe this isn't even something that I want to use, right? Maybe it's not actually getting that much scaling. I don't know. Unless you actually upgrade these weapons, it's very, very hard to discern, or at least for me, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know whether or not it would change the scaling of int to be, I don't know, B, for example, later on instead of a D, right? In which case it would be much, much better than what it currently is. But yeah, the thing is you don't really know. And so I don't know, I would just potentially farm for hours to get these smithing stones to then upgrade a weapon that potentially isn't even that great. So I honestly don't know why they have made it so difficult to find more of these smithing stones. I really feel like at least the smithing stones 1 and 2 should already be purchasable. Although that would mean that I would have to farm runes instead of the actual items. Which, I mean, I guess if I had like a specific place that I knew about where these items dropped, I mean, that would be kind of cool because then I could farm the items while also getting runes as well. So in that regard, that would be pretty awesome, but at the same time, I don't know. The problem is the game, who the fuck is that? The game really isn't telling you much about what you're supposed to do in these kinds of cases, right? And what you're potentially supposed to do in terms of, you know, are you even supposed to farm? Are you supposed to grind? It's very, very hard to tell, to be quite honest, what you're supposed to do. Oh yeah, he's... What the hell is... Oh, okay. Are you kidding me? Okay. If you're fighting at range, then I am too. Can you just, like, heal indefinitely? How does that work? I should have gotten iframes on that. What the That was weird. Altus Bloom 5. Yeah, the iframes on his attack were weird because sometimes I wasn't hit by it and then sometimes I was. I'm not entirely sure. What is that I got? That seems to be a, when did I get a golden centipede? Kept as a fetish by Golden Order fundamentalists, especially the hunters of those who live in death. As such, they're found near churches and similar. When did I get this? Actually don't remember. I feel like I've actually read the description, but... The Altus Bloom. So, okay. So this is, in fact, the Altus Plateau. Okay, that is interesting. Why? A golden-tinged flower from a succulent plant that blooms on the Altus Plateau. Said to be a funeral flower in an era long past, before the Erd Tree grew. Okay, so there was an era? It's so strange how they just drop in things like this, right? There was an era before the Erd Tree grew. I mean, just logically speaking, of course there was, right? I mean, obviously that Erd Tree wasn't always here, but sort of what we know of the history of this world, it has at least been here for a very, very long time. What a strange kind of sort of random piece of trivia that seems to be really important to the grand, to the world's history, right? Okay, I mean, well, we got this from this guy that we just defeated, so it's not necessarily growing here, but I feel like, I mean, this has to be the Altus Plateau then, right? At least the thing up top, maybe? It's just, I thought that the Altus Plateau was, I don't know, not here. I thought that it was connected to the capital somewhere over here, maybe? How weird. Strange kind of enemy. Oh wait, never mind, this is this is Michaela's lily. What the hell is that? So there's different lilies then as well. Trina's lily, Michaela's. Delicate water lily of unalloyed gold that has started to fade and wilt. A flower signifying faith in the Halic tree, thought to be beloved by the Imperial Michaela in his youth. What the fuck is the Halic tree? You can't just always drop these kinds of things without ever mentioning them before. Halic tree? Okay. What is that? Imperial Michaela. So many different new kinds of information that at the end of the day just seem to be, I don't know, incredibly hard to grasp almost. What?
Please, no. Dear me.
What?
I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be.
Okay.
Wait then. You're not one of them.
One of what?
What a relief.
Can you please tell that to everybody else so that we don't have to kill each other all the time?
Goodness me. I'm
Ah, Albus.
Albinoric. As you can see, we're finished. The whole village is finished. The cursemongers have destroyed everything. No one that remains has their wits about them. I beg you.
Ah, okay.
Would you look after this medallion? You must keep it out of the cursemongers' hands.
Ah, interesting. The cursemongers have destroyed everything. Okay. Halic Tree Secret Medallion, right. Wait, that's a... Fuck. That's a different medallion though, right? Oops. I don't think that's the correct right half of what I need. Okay, so... Whatever happened here then has made everybody else gone mad as well? How convenient, huh? That is so unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing that FromSoft always makes almost everything hostile towards you, I don't like it. It's... it would have been way cooler to find this village in sort of a state of, you know, have these normal guys here, but make them not attack you, right? Make them... well, NPCs or whatever, and have other guys here, like this weird dude that we just fought, that clearly was some sort of assassin, potentially part of these cursemongers. Make them attack you, right? I mean, that would make way more sense. I don't know. I feel like, you know, if FromSoft wasn't so keen on making everything an enemy, it would actually work out way better for the game's immersion in the long term.
And if you should meet the young Albinoric Latena, then please give it to her.
Okay. Once the medallion to be with Latena. Okay, so there's actually one other item that I completely forgot with everything that was going on that I also want to take a look at. First of all, though, where is this one? I already scrolled over it, didn't I? Yeah, I wanted to take a look at this letter. Or I guess it... shit. Oh no, I can. Never mind. Letter given by Rhea as thanks for retrieving her necklace. Contains an invitation to Volcano Manor. Brave Tarnished. Seek the Elders Plateau on the realm of the Erdtree. But here's the thing, right? So this... aren't we very far away from the Erdtree still? Prove yourself by making this journey, and the Volcano Manor will fully extend its invitation to fight amongst a family of champions. Yeah, I don't know. No idea what that means. Okay, key items. So yeah, this is the Dectus medallion. This is the Halic Tree Secret medallion, right. And this is for the Grand Lift of Rold, wherever that is. Right half of a split medallion depicting the Halic Tree. Where the fuck is the Halic Tree? So this is depicting the Erdtree. This is depicting the Halic Tree. So is that some sort of old version of the Erdtree? Or is it some opposing thing? Brandishing the medallion with both halves conjoined will activate the Grand Lift of Rold, granting access to a hidden path. In other words, the secret medallion will guide the bearer to the land of Michaelis Halic Tree. I wonder if that's another of this, like, secret underground world? The ancestral world that we've already been to? Certainly a lot of interesting stuff going on here.
Chosen land awaits us, Albinorics. The medallion is the key that leads to the city.
It's only a quaint treasure for we who cannot make the journey. But for dear Latenna, it is needed to fulfill her purpose.
Needed to fulfill her purpose. Okay.
My legs will soon fade, and with them my life. Alas, this is the immovable fate of all Albinorics.
Oh, he's just dying? Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't know what the comment about legs was, though. Like, I mean, was he just referring to them being a race that dies? Ivory sickle. What the fuck is that? That was a weird comment to, like, connect their lives to their legs? Was that just because he was... I mean, clearly they're crawling on all fours, apparently. Maybe that's how they were made? Sickle fashioned from ivory. Weapon carried by aged Albinorics. These weapons are evidence of their dedication to the Halic tree, despite never having entered its presence. Okay, so Albinorics are dedicated to the Halic tree. Didn't it say earlier, though, that they were made by somebody? Or was that the Crystallians? I mean, but, Oh, so many weird things going on here. It's so hard to figure out what this is supposed to mean. Supposed to refer to. Why? They're always much quicker than what you would expect them to be. 1 second. Sorry, just got a call. I think I need to take a break here in a minute. But yeah, I wanted to take a lunch break anyways, so that's fine. But I kind of want to see just these beginning parts if there's something that I might have missed. So this is sort of where the level starts then, I guess? I mean, the Side of Grace is here though, so... Just want to take a quick sneak peek over the bridge. A couple more of these guys here, apparently. Whoa. Stop right there, criminal scum. Okay. So I can summon here for some reason. Interesting. Yeah. I'm going to take a break, and then I'll, after the break, I'll try and figure out what this place is all about. And, you know... Wait, what? Is there, like, a boss enemy here or something? Why is there another summon sign here? Doesn't that seem like a bit of an overkill? I mean, clearly there is, like, a dude down there that we potentially want to fight, but I don't know. Very interesting and strange indeed. But yeah, this is going to be it for now. I need to take a break, and I also, that will be the perfect opportunity to eat something. So this will be it for now. Sorry for ending on kind of a cliffhanger. I definitely want to see what this whole place is about. 1 second. Okay, yeah. I mean, this looks very interesting, looks very intriguing. There's a lot of corpses here, a lot more than makes sense, as we have already established. But yeah, overall, very intriguing area. We've heard a bunch of information, a bunch of very interesting information. Potentially also information that is just overall very, very important for the, I guess, bigger picture of this world. This whole thing with the Helic tree seems to be something that is potentially very, very important. I wonder how important it'll actually be in the end, but I don't know. It makes me think that maybe the whole sort of starting area of the game, Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula and everything, is lacking a little bit of setup. Because so far, what's been happening in this area in Liornia, and a lot of the information that we've gotten after we defeated Godric, so where we started the stream with the round table hold and everything that, what's his name? Gideon Ovnir was talking about, and the hints and interesting things that he gave us. A lot of that, honestly, I think should have been there, well, not from the beginning, but given to you, you know, potentially from Melina or whoever over the course of the game so far. Like, I know that I take a lot longer to play through these games than other people. I mean, I also, you know, I take moments like this and just rest for a bit and think about everything that I've seen and the potential meanings behind things. I know that that takes time as well. But still, I mean, I would say that overall, even if you were to go through the game fairly quickly, wouldn't it take you at least like 20 to 30 hours to kill Godric? Unless you kind of accidentally find a very OP build from the very beginning or something, but I feel like you need to be somewhere around at least level 40 to actually have like a decent chance without sort of just relying on summons, but also dealing some damage yourself and stuff. So it just feels strange to me that you would, I don't know, it feels way too long of an intro that doesn't even give the player, you know, important information at all. And then, so for a very long time, you're sort of digging in the dark and you get a lot of information, but at the same time, you also kind of, you can't really place it. And then suddenly, you know, you get a whole lot of information at once. And now it feels like we're actually fully starting to get into the nitty-gritty parts of the lore, right? Finally, it feels like at least we're going somewhere with all of this. I don't yet know where it goes specifically, of course, but it feels like we're going somewhere. Yeah, I guess. Hard to tell. Oh well. This will be it for now. I'll be back in, I don't know, like 2 hours after lunch to pick up where we left off right here. I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are, and hopefully you will be back for the next one, the next stream of Elden Ring. I'll see you there. Bye bye.